Hi everyone! Today we're going to continue reading Nancy Drew and the Clue Crew, Scream for Ice Cream, written by Carolyn Keene and illustrated by Mackie Pomintuan. Remember last time they had just infiltrated or gotten into Daisy's ice cream club, remember? And they had to do a special taste test in order to see if they were allowed to join the club. Let's see what happens this time in Chapter 7, Candy Handed. Nancy glanced sideways at George. She was staring at the green ice cream too. Daisy? Nancy said. That flavor is too easy. What are you talking about? Daisy asked. Bess likes hard test questions, George piped in. Since when? Bess said. She smiled under her blindfold and shouted, Bring it on! Nancy held her breath as Bess took the bowl. Still blindfolded, Bess felt around for the spoon. Carefully, she took a spoonful, then stuck it straight into her mouth. Bess's chin moved up and down. Suddenly, her eyebrows flew up above the blindfold. She puffed out her cheeks and spit the ice cream back into the bowl. Blech! Marshmallow Martian! Gross! Phooey! Bess whipped off her blindfold. She jumped up, leaving the bowl of ice cream on her chair. Nancy and George jumped up too. Maybe there was a hair in it, Nancy said. The club members stared open-mouthed at Daisy. Daisy folded her arms across her chest and said, We only take members who love all of Jim and Barry's ice cream flavors. Yeah, Peter sneered. Maybe Mr. Drippy has a fan club you can join. Nancy stared back at the club members. They didn't look so friendly anymore. We have to go, Nancy said quickly. We have tons of homework, George said. In July? Daisy asked. It's never too early to start, Nancy said with a smile. In a flash, the girls raced out of the basement room. They said a polite goodbye to Mrs. Dorfer, then raced out of the house to their bikes. It's my fault, Bess wailed. I blew it. Nancy took one last bite of her ice cream bar. You were just being honest, Bess, she said. Besides, we didn't want to join that club anyway. Now we'll never find out their secret recipe for the contest, Bess wailed. Who says we won't? George asked. Nancy and Bess turned to George. She was holding a piece of paper in her hand and grinning from ear to ear. Look what I grabbed on the way out, George said. It's the paper that was underneath the recipe they wrote. It's blank, Bess said. Not exactly, George said. She pointed to the paper. Check out the scratches on it. Those are the marks the pen made when Daisy wrote the recipe on the top page. I get it, Nancy said. If we can read the scratches, we can read the recipe. How? Bess asked. Nancy stuck the popsicle stick in her pocket. She pulled out a pencil out of her waist pack and said, Watch. It's a trick I learned in a mystery book. Nancy used the side of the pencil point to lightly draw over the scratches. The words appeared like magic. What does it say? Bess asked. The girls studied the paper. It says, Oatmeal cookie and raisin crunch ice cream, Nancy said. Not chock full of chocolate. How do we know it's for real? George asked. Maybe they just wrote a fake recipe to trick us. Nancy carried the popsicle stick to a trash can in front of the Dorfers' house. On the side next to the can was a big blue recycling bag, the same bag Mrs. Dorfer was stuffing things into before. Nancy kneeled down and peered through the clear blue plastic. "Look," she said, pointing with the popsicle stick. "This bag is filled with empty raisin containers and oatmeal cookie boxes." George looked at the list of ingredients on the scratchy paper. "That's what they used to make the ice cream," she said. I guess the club didn't make chock full of chocolate." Nancy glanced at the Jim and Barry popsicle stick in her hand. The words Lickety Sticks Company were not stamped on it. "They didn't write the creepy message either," she said. The girls took the Jim and Barry fan club off the suspect list. They decided to sit down and come up with more suspects. "Can we talk over fruit smoothies?" George asked. "But we just had ice cream," Nancy said. "I only had one spoonful," George said. "And I spit mine out," Bess said, "so that doesn't count." The girls pedaled their bikes 2 blocks to River Street. As they parked them, they noticed a sign in the window of the Mean Bean health food store. It read, "Smoothies, 100% real fruit." Nancy and Bess walked inside. The store always smelled like the inside of a vitamin bottle. "This is the place that Kevin's parents own," George whispered. "If he's here, maybe we can ask him some questions." "Sure," Nancy said, but deep inside she still didn't think Kevin stole Kendra's recipe. Mr. Garcia stood behind the juice counter. He made 3 smoothies: strawberry for Bess, banana for George, and banana strawberry for Nancy. "Is Kevin here?" Bess asked. Mrs. Garcia walked over from the vitamin shelf. "Kevin is out spending his birthday money," she said. "Hopefully on that new Yoga for Kids DVD," Mr. Garcia said with a grin. "I heard it really rocks." "Can we add some wheatgrass juice to your smoothies?" Mrs. Garcia asked. "Very healthy." "And tasty," Mr. Garcia added. "Grass?" George gulped. No thank you," Nancy said. The 3 girls carried their smoothies out of the store. They were about to stick their straws through the plastic lids when Kendra huffed over. "Smoothies?" Kendra cried. "You're supposed to be finding out who stole my recipe. The contest is tomorrow." "We're having a high-energy snack," George said, "so we'll have lots of strength to solve the case." But Nancy knew Kendra was right. Time was running out. "We'll do our best, Kendra," Nancy promised. Kendra heaved a big sigh. Then she ran to catch up with her mother. "We have to solve this case, Clue Crew," Nancy said. "Let's sit down somewhere and really get to work." The girls saw a bench in front of the chocolate soldier shop. As they walked toward it, the door of the shop swung open. A boy rushed out with a box tucked under his arm. On the box was a picture of a chocolate soldier. "It's Kevin," Nancy whispered. The girls ducked behind the bench. Between the wooden slats, they watched Kevin running to a shiny blue bike parked at the curb. He dropped the box into the bike basket, then pulled on a helmet, climbed on, and pedaled away. "That didn't look like a yoga DVD to me," George said. "He spent his birthday money on chocolate." "No one can eat that much chocolate," Bess asked. "Not even Kevin Garcia." "Unless he's not eating it." Nancy said slowly. What do you mean? George asked. Maybe Kevin did enter the ice cream contest, Nancy said slowly, and maybe he is making Kendra's ice cream. Ooh, okay. Maybe it is Kevin. We figured out it's not Daisy and her club, so we'll have to see what happens next time in Chapter 8, Ice Cream. Ooh, man. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this reading of Nancy Drew and the Clue Crew Scream for Ice Cream. Really quick, I want to show you Nancy's special trick. It was really cool. She mentioned that if you ever want to be a super spy, all you have to do is one simple thing. You can find out what someone's written on the paper if you do two things. One, let's write something on the paper. I'm going to write, hello. The secret is they had to have pressed down pretty hard when they were writing. Otherwise, it won't be able to show up. I'm going to say, hello, and then a smiley face. Now, I'm going to rip this page off. Just like that. Rip it off, it's gone, okay? If you look closely, you'll see there's some scratch lines in the paper from where I wrote. Well, if you take a pencil and color very lightly on top, you should be able to see what that person wrote. It might not be the easiest to see, but it should be possible that we can see that I made the word hello and a smile. So if you look carefully, you should be able to see hello, and then you should be able to see my smile pretty easily too. I'll press down a little bit darker. This is something that even detectives and police officers use nowadays to see what people have written on pieces of paper. Can you see it? Can you see my hello? It's right there, hello. Pretty cool. That's how Nancy and the gang found out what the club wrote on their piece of paper. What a cool spy trick. Pretty neat. All right, friends. I'll see you next time. Bye!